strategy plus automation times execution. Tell me about the execution portion.
I kind of want to use the plan your content idea this all the way across. The strategy is that you come up with how often do you want to make content. The automation is using tools like Notion to keep yourself accountable and making sure you have an idea of when that content goes out. But using tools like Notion to help you with execution. That way you actually have, your brain can kind of just dump the ideas. You don't have to worry about due dates because it's already going to be doing it. Here's the deal. Due dates, I don't mean DUE, I mean DO. When are you going to do the actual piece of content? And that's where the execution comes into factor. When you're creating content, you're planning it out, you have to actually go ahead and do it. And I found myself plenty of days where I would be like, I don't have enough energy for it, or my day flew by and now I don't have time to make content. And so what I ended up having to do is using Notion's calendar, drag every piece of content over to the next day. That way I can still keep the same order, but not have to worry about planning it out again. It really comes down to, can you work? Can you put in the effort? Can you stay up late and work on it? Depending if you have a 9 to 5, if you have kids, stuff that keeps you busy away from your content. That is the differentiating factor between you and the other person next to you. Someone who has a bad strategy, uses automation, is executing way harder than you, is probably still going to be a little bit farther ahead than you, even though you have a better strategy. If you're not executing on that strategy, it doesn't really matter how good it is.
I love it. So you're talking about just do. The execution is just doing the work. But they might say also, but I'm working all the time. What do you mean do? Like, do I have to do like 5 minutes? How do I even get any of that action to get started? Could you give
that is really up to you, because depending on how much time you're able to put forth is how much time you're going to be able to execute. And then there's also the quality of the execution as well. If you're tired and you're not drinking enough caffeine to do it, your execution is not going to be that great. If you are making sure that you are actually putting in the effort to do it, then you don't have to necessarily worry about it as much. I'm just trying to say execution is the multiplier. It is the variable that really only you can change. New tools can come out that can make the automation easier. When Opus came out, it made my automation way easier. But before that, I couldn't really do it. So for a while there, I had the strategy, but I didn't have the tools for automation to really get that next step of the process. So there was plenty of times where I was executing on that strategy, but I wasn't able to get the content that we're literally working on right now out. And while that's kind of an excuse, it is true. There's also distractions. So I was doing other things like doing interviews or doing my jobs to pay the bills that prevented me from making content. So I wasn't executing on the content. So there's always going to be things that come up, but you have to find time.
And this is why when we were talking about it, and the whole purpose of this was, we're just going to do it. We're going to have these videos. We're going to go out and show people what we do, creative ways, and take what you like and incorporate it what works for you.